Hello, and welcome to Viewer Beware, Month 1.
Released in month 2, but it's month 1.
COVID. Got COVID.
I had COVID. It was... The worst part was not being able to do this, honestly. That was the worst part about COVID. So we've had this idea for a while. Towards the end of last year, we were kind of like... November? Yeah, that sounds about right. Towards the end of the year, we were like, hey, wouldn't it be really funny if we read all the Goosebumps books and kind of like reviewed them? And we kind of did it.
So we bought the Mega Collection, which has 30 books that were
new cover art. They've got like special like shit in the back of the book. If you were a kid, you'd love it. Yeah. But it's just an easy way to get a lot of Goosebumps books.
So we got the first 24. There were 5 missing. So we've got the first year covered.
Yeah, I had to go out.
It's a 2.5 year process.
2.5 years?
Yeah, this is going to take.
I didn't even realize how long this is going to be.
It's like it's over 60 books. 24 for the first year, then until 48 for next year, and then the rest in the first half.
What the fuck have I done? This was my idea.
What
have I done?
It was your idea.
This is my revenge for Batman Vengeance. This
is your vengeance for Batman Vengeance.
Oh god, yeah.
I've been banned from talking about the weather.
We get here, and she goes, wouldn't it be really funny if it started raining? And the fucking moment she finished saying that, there was a raindrop on my arm and it started pissing down rain.
Ruined my hair. I'm sweating, my makeup through and through. It's a good day to film. Great day to film.
So there's probably going to be parts where the rain's in the background. But honestly, it adds atmosphere, and if you don't like it, fuck you.
Dark, stormy night.
Yeah.
Tell us about the first book, Jared.
So the first book is, I just call it Dead House. It's Welcome to Dead House. So this was the very first Goosebumps book, and I don't know why Stein just went, okay, this is the first one. I set a precedent with this book. It's going to come out, did they release monthly?
Yeah.
Yep, you're going to have to write a new one of these every month. I've really got to knock the door down. And he just does a ghost story, which I guess is easy. Anyway, what happens in Welcome to Dead House? You've got a new family moving into the Dead House. They go to this house and they're kind of looking at it. There's a son, there's a daughter. The daughter's the main character, and there's mum and a dad, and there's a dog.
Is it actually called the Dead House?
Never once do they go, oh, that's the Dead House.
No.
There's parts where kids on the street are like, I used to live in that house, but they never go, I used to live in the Dead House. So they go and they look at this house, and the son is like, I fucking hate this. I hate my mum and my dad, and I don't want to live here. And the daughter's a bit like, oh, come on, you're being mean, but she doesn't want to either. The mum and the dad are just dumb. They're just stupid. They're just like, wow, my uncle that I never knew about died, and he left us this house in the will. That sounds great, and I'm not going to think about that at all. I'm going to move into this house.
It's a nice house.
It's a very nice house.
A lot of shade.
Lots of shade. That's important. Keep that in mind. The dog starts barking at the real estate agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog starts barking at the real estate agent.
What hat is he wearing?
He's not wearing it right now. No. So when they're inside the house, the daughter thinks that she sees a ghostly boy behind her, and then she turns around and the ghostly boy isn't there. But the brother's missing. So everyone's like, where the hell did the brother go? And they've got to run around this environment, this new place they've moved to, trying to find the brother. The brother left to go and find the dog, and the dog was in the cemetery. So when they're going out trying to find him, the real estate agent steps out of the shade and he's like, uh-oh, and he puts on a fucking cowboy hat. It's a cowboy hat, right? Yeah, he puts on some cowboy hat. It's just like funny, funny man wearing a cowboy hat. They eventually find the brother, yada, yada, yada. They go home, they start moving and everything. The daughter says goodbye to her best friend, and it's all very sad. And then we finally move into the Dead House. And then nothing happens for a long time. The dog is still barking at all these people who live there. The kids start hanging out with all these other kids. The other kids are like, I used to live in the Dead House. We don't call it the Dead House.
They play baseball.
Yeah, they do all sorts of stuff. They're a bit weird. There's a part where it looks like the kids are about to murder the brother and the sister.
They gang up on them.
Yeah, but then the real estate agent comes past and they all stop and they pretend nothing's happening. But like that never happens again. It just happens once. The daughter still thinks that she sees this boy in her house every now and then. And that boy ends up being one of the kids. We're like 12 chapters into the book now. We're like well beyond the halfway point of the book, and not a lot has happened. I just spent a lot of time describing the first 2 chapters. And then we eventually get to the point, and the dog's gone missing again. So they start looking for the dog, and they find the dog at the cemetery. They go, this is where the dog ran away to last time, let's look here. And sure enough, there he is. But he's sad and he doesn't want to go near everyone. And then the boy that the daughter keeps seeing, I don't know their names. Boy, daughter, whatever. Good luck.
Josh and Amanda,
Josh
the
and
kids.
Amanda. The boy.
Ray.
The
first page I
You just flick to the page with Ray.
Yeah.
Ray is probably the best part of the book.
Oh yeah.
So then Ray's there, and Ray goes, the dogs need to go first because they always know. So for some reason, dogs know when people are dead.
That's a pretty common thing.
It's
in
really
ghost
common.
stories.
It never needs to be explained.
Yeah.
I just like it.
It's like how dogs can pick up higher frequencies.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like a dog knows when a storm's going to come. A dog knows when somebody's fucking dead. So they killed the dog because the dogs always know first. And then Ray's like, you weren't supposed to find out. Once a year we have to kill people to sustain our undead, whatever. And they end up killing him. Light. They've got a flashlight.
Yeah.
They shine a flashlight on him,
light.
and it kills him. A halogen light. And they end up killing him. And then all the other kids and everything are coming around, and they're like, "Oh, a spooky ghost!" And they run, and they get to the real estate agent, and he's like, "Ha ha ha! I'm a ghost too. We can't go out in broad daylight, and that's why he wears a fucking cowboy hat," which is the best twist ever. And all the ghosts are about to kill their parents as well. They're about to kill the parents in this theater, which is in the cemetery.
It's like an amphitheater. It's like an outdoor theater.
Yeah. And there's this massive tree that's grown into it. So the kids go, I know, we'll fucking push this massive dead tree over.
The
dead tree. And because the tree offers shade for the amphitheater, if they knock the tree over, sunlight's going to kill all the ghosts. And the dumbest plan ever actually works. And then they just leave at the end. They have to leave their dead dog there. But everybody else manages to escape, and they're like, oh, what a wacky adventure, bye, and the book ends.
There's like a toxic farm.
Yeah, there was a factory that had an explosion at some point, and a whole bunch of toxic fumes flooded the town. I forgot about that, thank you. And that is what killed them all, and it also made them undead.
Yeah.
That never gets explained, it's just brought up once.
It's kind of like Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, that's where there's the military thing that
Yeah.
drops the toxic sludge. Yeah, it's a bit like that. Except in that one you see it, in this one you just get told about it.
Yeah.
Like
It didn't have the budget.
No, they didn't. He didn't have the budget for his fucking book. It would have been cool if there was like a final climactic battle at the plant. Then it would have been a bit more important.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do with it. We're going to be saying that a lot. Like this was written in a month for kids, so there's not a whole lot you can do. But so having just made fun of it a lot, I kind of like it.
It's, for a starting point, it's really basic.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the point.
I think
that it's just a ghost.
it is a really simple ghost kind of story. Nothing happens until the very end. One of my notes is nothing happens until everything happens, because that's exactly how it feels. This is like 18 chapters long. Or something.
Maybe 24?
I think 24 is
21.
basement. I think it might be 18 because there was like an exact halfway point.
Yeah, this had a weirdly long chapter.
And I swear to you, nothing happens until chapter 16. 18? Yeah. So nothing happens until like chapter 16, and that's when the entire kind of finale and reveal happens. I still kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of interesting ideas in it, right?
It's funny because it's called Welcome to Dead House. You kind of assume it's about the house.
Yeah.
But it feels like
that's
it's more about the town that they go to. Not a lot happens at the house.
No, nothing really happens in the house at all.
Yeah.
You just get a couple of spooky things.
Like the kids used to live there, but it almost, when you think about it, they didn't need to.
No.
They could have lived anywhere and they still would be ghosts.
Because when somebody dies to extend the undead with everybody else, they then join the town.
Maybe they were like previous tenants?
Yeah, so that house is the trap. That's how they get people to come here to kill them to sustain themselves.
And they can't do that with any other house.
No,
I don't know.
I think something worked once and they went, great, that's the only idea we have.
They probably tried it with a bunch of other houses. They had like a crummy little
It's gotta
cottage
be
that
the
no one
one.
wanted to move
It's
into.
probably the only house that has like an appropriate amount of shade.
Yeah.
So that the
They
real
can
estate
hang
guy
around,
can
yeah.
go there, whatever his name is. He was pretty underused, but he was he's not that great because I really like Ray. I think the idea of one of the kids being the watcher and his entire job is to make sure that you don't know that you're going to be killed. He's just watching you, making sure that if he ever feels like, oh no, they're onto us, he like tells all the others, we've got to fast track this and kill them now.
It's cool. His name's Mr. Dawes.
Yeah, that's right, but it's spelled Dawes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how do I pronounce that? Is it just Dawes?
Yeah, it's like Rachel Dawes from The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's spelled.
Oh yeah.
It's not. Do you think it was Dawes?
Yeah, I was like,
What are you doing?
because when I'm reading it, I'm just like doors, just like doors.
Yeah.
I was like, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Dog's name is Petey as well.
Yeah.
The town's called Dark Falls. That's a cool title.
Dark Falls is a very good. There's no falls in it.
No.
There's no.
Are there any falls in Gravity Falls?
Yeah. Yeah, there's one.
Okay.
There's a bridge over it, right?
So
Oh,
it
that
should be
was the
called
canyon.
Gravity Fall. Because there's only one.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I used to live in your house. That's the exact quote. And I like that because they're dead. I used to live.
Because like you know exactly what Stein's doing. It's just still fun.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. So we used to live in your house, George said. And now guess what, Jerry added? Now we're dead in your house. That's a pretty good line.
That's a pretty good line. My very first note is Josh and I hated our new house. And I said I can immediately tell the first line will be important in these books. And I think I was very wrong. Because I feel like with these ones, like, the very first sentence, at least what I was hoping for, and this might be me looking for brilliance where there isn't any, the first line would, like, perfectly set up the entire book. And I'm pretty sure as soon as I read the first line of Stay Out of the Basement, I was like, oh, no, never mind. Gotta lose that idea.
The thing about the first chapters of Goosebumps is they establish the characters.
Yeah,
that's what
all
they
have
normally
to
do. Yeah. Okay, what else I got?
I have... Oh, actually, this was a very fun note that I wrote. I wrote, if R.L. Stine kills the dog, he sets a precedent for the series. Because normally when you're reading like a kid's horror story, you're probably thinking, oh, and then everybody gets like ice cream in the end and they get a pat on the back and oh,
Yeah.
the scary monster's been defeated. But I was like, as soon as I saw a dog, and this might be the Iraqi influence coming through, but as soon as I read, oh, this family has a dog, that dog's fucking dead. And sure enough, local man kills the dog. I was very happy.
I watched R.L. Stein's masterclass, and one of the notes he had was that you need to end your kid's horror story on a happy ending. Because he wrote a Fear Street book once where the hero loses at the end, and all the readers were so pissed off he had to write a sequel to it to fix it.
That's fucking amazing. Oh, we're gonna have to cover the Fear Street books at some point, aren't we?
2.5 years, Jared. Just a friendly reminder.
We'll see how we go.
Yeah. 2.5 years, Morty!
Okay, what else did I write? The first chapter feels like bad 2-sentence horror. Because it was, the first chapter was just like, I loved my house, it was perfect until the dead boy appeared behind me. That kind of...
Yeah.
All of these chapters ended on a cliffhanger that would immediately be resolved in the next one. It was like a season of disenchantment for every chapter of the book. Because it was like,
Yeah.
I turned around and I thought I saw the dead boy behind me. End chapter. Start of the next chapter. Oh, it was just my brother. My silly, stupid brother. Never mind, we're all good.
There was one that I found really strange. I think it stuck out to me early on was when they're looking for the brother who's lost, and then she sees him running in the cemetery. It's like, oh no, he's being chased. Oh wait, he's actually chasing the dog.
Yeah, that's
That was the
next
first
best
big
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that chapter was like, we finally found my brother.
Yeah.
What's he doing running through the cemetery?
There's a really bad one in Monster Blood, which is next month. It's the worst.
And then I died next chapter, but I lived.
Much worse.
I am rather excited for Monster Blood.
Yeah.
That's next month's
Next
video.
month, probably.
What else have I got? My next note was, Is every chapter going to end on a cliffhanger? Yes.
Yeah. You got to keep the kids hooked. That's how they read.
That is the most important thing
Yeah.
to remember. But then you use it as a crutch sometimes.
Yeah.
You go, this is bad, but a kid would love it.
He wrote it in a month, Jared.
I know. I'm so miserable. What the girl just says that. As our kids don't talk like that, Mr. Stein. Because this was when the sister was saying goodbye to her friend. The friend's like, don't worry, I'll come and visit you. And the sister breaks down and she's like, I'm so miserable. Like, no, the kid's not. I don't know how old the sister was meant to be, but I did not believe that. She went, I'm miserable.
They're usually like 12.
Yeah.
Around that
I think she's
age.
got a little brother. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Stein, if you're listening to this 12-year-old girl describing how sad she is, will not use the word miserable.
Too large.
Too large. Too many syllables.
Yeah. You can't even use the word miserable.
Miserable.
Les miserables.
Le miserable. I think I'm right. What else have I got? What is blasting through my notes? Because at this point, I've read this book so long ago, and there was a whole case of COVID in between. I can't remember a lot of it off the top of my
We
head
also have to
anymore.
be out of here in under 2 hours, so the quicker the better, honestly.
Yeah. I wrote halfway through the book, one thing has happened. And then my next note is I said, I take it back, nothing happens until chapter 12. I can't remember what happens in chapter 12. But I know at chapter 9, I felt like, oh, one thing's happening finally. And then a couple chapters later, I went, no, wait a fucking
I
minute.
think did I write it? I wrote when they met Ray
Sweat.
was when the plot started. Like actually meeting him, which is kind of accurate.
Yeah, that's the first time it feels like the plot's actually moving.
It's like a catalyst.
For a book called Welcome to the Dead House, it takes them a third of the book to even like fucking move there. And you'd think chapter 1 would be we've just moved into our house, just so we can get the plot.
There's a lot of
Moving.
flashbacks to like as you said, the Amanda saying goodbye to her best friend, and they're promising to see each other. I knew a couple people like in primary school and high school and such where they'd move to another state and be like, yeah, we'll see each other again. We didn't.
No, yeah.
Doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
We can hope. So that was kind of realistic.
Yeah, but then at the end she moves back there anyway and sees her
Conflict
again.
resolved.
I'm just watching one piece of sweat just go down.
I'm feeling it. Don't worry. It's
This is great filming day. What else have I got here?
it's hot everywhere.
Okay, so at chapter 12 I said everything from there is good, if a little predictable. If very predictable. Which, yeah. Knowing, it's a simple story.
Yeah.
Knowing what's coming doesn't ruin it. It's still just a bit fun. I was a bit late. Wow, I had to read 2/3 of a book for literally anything to happen.
The one thing that was surprising was the dog dying. And even then, like every horror movie has the dog die. If you introduce a dog in your story, you have to kill it.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
have
rule.
to. It's a
They
rule.
don't do it with cats. If you ever saw that movie Hush, there was a cabinet. The cat didn't die. Shame.
I don't have any other notes that I haven't already mentioned now. My ending...
I have a note.
What's your note?
Would you like to cross your legs, please? Unless you want to show off to the for your channel a little bit of skin to get some more views. Okay.
He had COVID.
Solid starting point that doesn't do anything crazy. It is just a very, very simple ghost story. And like, that's it. Do you have anything else to say about
No.
Dead House?
Absolutely
No.
not. Let's talk about the TV adaptation.
That's right. I hated it.
Yeah, it took a lot.
All of the parts of the book that I thought were like a diamond in the rough kind of deal, out of the fucking adaptation.
The dog
Yeah.
dying was so much dumber.
And the dog comes back in the end for like your twist ending.
Yeah, he's got ghost eyes.
Not even a twist. They were just
Yeah.
like, haha, the dog is a ghost. The end.
Petey, for a dog, you're a great actor. You really scared me when you played dead.
Probably was the best actor in that episode. So there you go. That was amazing.
What else did they do? They added in the fucking...
The-
What, the reef? The...
Oh yeah, there's a wreath hanging on the wall
And the
that
ghosts
keeps
really
the ghosts
don't.
out.
They really
Yeah.
don't like it. And then when
It's really important, and then they take it down, and then the ghosts come in.
they throw it in the fire, I think.
Yeah.
And then the ghosts are because the ghosts are like, no, don't throw it in the fire. And everyone's like, ha ha ha, this will show those ghosts. And they throw it in the fire, and the ghosts go, you dumbasses. That was the only thing protecting you.
They're gone.
What?
This is all entirely new now. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they're burning it. Let's like psych them out for a minute.
See, I think what happened was a perfect adaptation has about 30 minutes. You can't do an episode 30 minutes long. So you need to do a two-parter. And if you're doing a two-parter,
You gotta add shit.
Gotta add.
But they also removed some stuff.
Like what?
Like the Watcher was just not.
Yeah, he was just kind of
And
the
he
guy. in
was
that.
the best ghost in that. Because
Yeah.
like his whole job was to watch them and make sure nothing weird happens, and like he's pretending to be your friend, but he like genuinely wants to be their friend. But he's also got his job to do, and he feels very torn about it. None of that in the fucking adaptation of the TV show.
They changed the climax from the amphitheater to the home.
That's the one thing they did. They made it about the house.
Which you should. It's called Welcome
Yeah.
to Dead House.
And there's like dead bodies in the walls and
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like, wow, we're actually making it about the house. This is cool. But then everything else was changed or removed or just different.
They fleshed out the factory a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Tiny bit more.
I don't care. I don't want to move.
There's the chemical plant. That's good. Does a better job setting up than the fucking book does.
Was the chemical plant important?
It's brought up right at the end when they explain what happened.
Oh yeah, of course. Fuck.
But like that's it. They just mentioned
Yeah.
there was a chemical plant.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't flesh it out. They just mentioned it earlier. Because in the book, it's only mentioned when they go, why are you all dead? And they go, there was the factory and it killed us all.
And they took away the cowboy hat.
Took away the fucking cowboy hat.
You're really upset about
You
it.
can't have shit anymore, I swear to God.
I'll let myself out.
We didn't cut out the cowboy hat, did we? Must
We
come
cut
in
out
later.
that cowboy hat.
No, it comes in later. They've just moved the scene around.
We'll see.
The cowboy hat, it was literally like the big reveal moment of like, what do you mean you're a ghost? And he goes, I was wearing a cowboy hat.
The twist was he was wearing a cowboy hat. You didn't see that one coming.
He's so fucking good. That's like the one part that I genuinely was just like, fuck yes. Because when they revealed that everybody was going to be dead, I was like, but I've seen this guy in broad daylight. How the fuck do you get around that? And
It's
he's like,
Twilight
I wore
Hours.
a really big cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And it had shade on my face.
But it's like in Twilight where they have to live in this town that's like really cloudy and there's no sun because the weather's just shit.
Yeah.
It's like Minnesota or something, I don't remember. Thank you. There's an introduction and outro by R.L. Stine starting from season 2, I'm guessing. 'Cause
Yes.
it wasn't in the Stay Out of the Basement adaptation, which was season 1. And he's like at the end, you were a real scary dog, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. That man's wholesome.
He's a lovely man.
Is there anything else to say about the adaptation? I just really didn't like it because it changed the things that I did like.
It made the girl ghost more involved than Ray at that point.
Yeah,
honestly.
they pretty much took Ray and just made it her.
Yeah.
Because in the book, she's just like kind of nice, and then when they're all dying, she says thank you. Oh, that's right. They don't die in the end. They just escape. They don't kill all the ghosts. They just run away.
Right. Shit, I don't
They
remember
just get away in the car, and all the ghosts were like chasing them, and then they stop.
Yeah.
And they're in the car and they're like, we're gonna get away, and then they're like, Doggy, you're here, and Doggy's like, I'm the dog.
So
Like,
is the dog gonna turn them into ghosts now?
I think the dog's just gonna be a ghost forever.
It's just a thing.
It's-
like
yeah.
when you have friends over, it's like, oh, the dog's just a ghost. You just
Yeah,
accept that.
they just go, whatever, this is my undead dog. The good news is he's not gonna die on me because he already has.
Is that a good thing? Gotta keep walking, clean up its shit. Ghost shit? Do you need like a special ghost plastic
Dude.
bag?
If you're a ghost, it's not that he's a ghost, it's that he's living dead.
Yeah.
Do your bowels move?
See, this is what we should be talking about. We've wasted all this time reviewing the book. We need to talk about the mechanics of
because
ghost shit.
they live off of like blood and like life force, right? Do they need to piss that out once a year, or
Yeah, well, we need to figure out like the chemical composition of life force to know if there's any waste material involved in that. Is the problem?
we're getting dangerously close to Remnant in fucking Five Nights at Freddy's? Oh, it's a dead door.
Like dead wood.
Yeah, that is what a door is.
Let's talk about Stay Out of the Basement.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this is Stay Out of the Basement, which infinitely more interesting book.
For better and for worse.
Yeah, kind of. So these two kids, Margaret and Casey, they live at home. They're not moving anywhere. They
Yeah.
stay in the house. Their dad is a secret scientist working on a project in the basement having to do with plants. I think he worked at a university. He got fired.
He was fired from the university
Yeah.
for his experiments. Yeah.
So they stopped seeing him as they usually did. He's always in the basement. He's telling them, stay out of the basement.
That was the end of chapter 1.
Yeah.
He just screams, stay out of the basement!
So instead of them be like, they don't even call it Dead House. They're right into it.
Yeah.
They know that the act of staying out of the basement is crucial to the plot. Having said that, they go to the basement a lot in this book.
They spend half the book in the
Yeah,
basement.
I counted. I actually wrote down how many chapters they spent, but I'll go through a plot summary first. So, the mum goes away. She has to look after her sister who is sick. It's in a different state. I don't know where, but like that's your excuse where it's just the kids and the dad, and occasionally Margaret.
Amanda.
Margaret has a friend over who doesn't do shit.
Oh yeah, what a pointless character.
Yeah.
That's right.
The problem is, these characters, they're all the same. You have the older sibling, who's like the voice of reason, who's your voice into this world, and you have the annoying younger sibling, who's always getting into trouble.
It doesn't help that
It's a
in
classic
both of
problem.
these books, it's the older sister and the younger brother.
Yeah.
So it's like the same characters.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a running theme too.
Yeah.
We'll see. So they go to the basement. A plant tentacle thing grabs the brother when he's trying to retrieve his jacket.
Yeah, he left some clothes down there.
He left his jacket.
Because the dad's like
Yeah.
outside about
Yeah.
to come in.
But like little things happen over the course of the book to build the tension. They discover that there's leaves growing out of the top of his head. He's eating plant food. They have his former boss. I'm going to see if I can find his name.
Yeah, he rocks up once.
Yeah, and then he leaves. He leaves. They don't see him leave. Then they find his clothes in the basement, and it's like, ooh, what happened there? Fuck it. So, maybe I should have read that plot.
I was gonna say, I think
Yeah.
we're missing out on a lot here.
Okay, hang on. So,
There's the part where the dad tries to feed them goop.
yeah, like plant stuff. I don't.
Yeah, it was like green
Yeah.
goopy stuff, and the dad was like, he was really like, take your medicine, kids, eat breakfast. I cooked you breakfast. You don't want to eat my breakfast? Eat the fucking breakfast.
And then Margaret, one night, she comes down. She hears her dad in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He's like washing a cup, and his blood is green.
Yeah, that was right before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a bandage on his hand for like the whole book,
Hmm.
and then when she like gets out of bed in the middle of the night and finds him in the bathroom, he's like unwrapped it and he's got this massive cup of like green goop coming out of it.
And I think it's at that point he finally like tells them the point of the experiment. Like he gives them a fake story.
I think that's when the hat gets knocked off and they see he's got plants on his head.
Yeah. And
Because they were playing catch in the backyard, and
Yeah.
then dad comes by and goes, "Hey dad, catch!" and they throw the ball at him and it knocks the hat off, and they see the plants are so dumb.
yeah. Yeah, but he's just like, we're growing like a breed of super plants or like
Yeah.
cross species with
It's
human
just a
DNA.
side effect, guys. It's
Yeah.
just a side effect.
So eventually they say, we've had enough. We think you've kidnapped your boss.
Yeah.
We're going into the basement. We're going to get to the truth of it. We think we heard like a muffled voice in the cabinet. So they get down there and they open the cabinet and they find their dad wrapped up, and they also see his boss in the back there, also trapped.
Yeah, they're both.
And they let the dad go, and then the other dad comes down with the mum, and they're like, "Oh, who's the real dad?" And then the mum, instead of trying to like solve the problem, is like, "What are you gonna do, Margaret? What are we gonna do?" Useless mom. Fuck
What
the
are we
mom.
going to do?
Exactly. And then she decides. What did she, because he wasn't calling her princess anymore, which was what gave it away for her why that wasn't the real dad.
What's her other nickname?
Fatso.
Because she's so skinny.
Yeah, that's right. It's an ironic name.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. What I would have done is, hey Dad, you've got this other guy tied up in the closet too. Why is he in there? And he wouldn't give an answer, and then you would kill him. So the dad explains, oh yeah, I was splicing plants with my own DNA, and I created like a perfect clone of me, except he had leaves growing out of his head.
But he's a plant.
And he's a plant.
Yeah.
And he kidnapped me, and he put me in the closet, and like some of the plant DNA got on me, but like my hair's growing back now, so it's fine.
That's right. The actual point of his experiment was the way that you can grow plants, but then by taking certain like bits of other plants and like grafting them on to other ones, you get like the traits of that plant on the next one. He wanted to do that, but with people.
Yeah, like GMOs.
Genetics and shit, yeah. But he was going about it with plants.
Yeah.
Which kind of, it's more interesting than there's a house and people die in it.
Yeah.
So...
But he gets reinstated at the university. The guy's like, I got kidnapped, but that plant guy seemed real super intelligent, so I guess you get your job back.
I might have been within an inch of my life, but I gotta tell you, it's good science.
It's good science. That's true, though.
Yeah.
Like, creating a plant person, that's pretty boss.
Yeah. Look,
Gotta be honest
I'm
something.
playing God, so sure.
Yeah. So, I guess
What about the twist ending?
The twist ending...
The big cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah.
The final scare.
So, Margaret, not Amanda, Margaret's going through, she's playing with her family, and then she hears a whisper in the yard, and it's like, Margaret, it's this little flower, little daisies. Margaret, it's me, I'm your real dad.
Margaret, it's your dad. I'm a fucking sunflower, I'm a daisy.
Which one is it?
I don't doesn't matter.
I don't think they actually
There's
say.
no sequel, who cares?
No, there wasn't.
And that's where it ends with, I'm your real dad, by the way. She just goes, credits.
What to do about that? See, I think the premise is a lot more interesting. Like, underground plant.
There's a lot more going on in
Yeah.
there. It's got that mystery the whole way through where you're going, what's up with the dad? And you're in there from chapter 1, which is much better than, it's a ghost story. Can't wait to see the ghosts.
So I'll tell you, okay, so I did write it down, but now it's gone. That's right. I did write down how many chapters they spent in the basement. And I think it was half. It was around half.
It's got more chapters,
Yeah.
but the book's the same length. I swear to you, one chapter was like 3 pages long.
Yeah. The first thing that caught my eye, this was in the third person. And so I thought, okay, because I've read a lot of Goosebumps books and they were all in the first person. So obviously R.L. Stein started out writing in the third person, but he didn't because Dead House is in the first person. So I guess it was just this book he did.
We'll see, because...
I read Monster Blood and Say Cheese and Die pretty recently. They're
both first person?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to say it's just that one, but so far it's just that one.
It's just that one.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
I guess, it's easier for him to put the kids in that mindset when it's first person. It's more immersive. Imagine talking about immersion with Goosebumps books for kids.
You're breaking my immersion when you're telling me that this girl's name's Fatso, but she's thin.
It's the fucking dumbest shit.
Hey, leftist, you're calling this woman a Fatso, but she's thin. Isn't that funny?
No, sweetie, it's ironic. You're actually really skinny, that's why I call you Fatso. And it's a sign of affection, too. Okay, Fatso? I didn't like the fucking twist with the plant dad.
The end twist, or
not the end twist. Sorry, with like the whole time it was a different dad.
Yeah.
I was kind of really hoping for something where it was like I gradually see the dad get worse and worse, and then
like The Fly.
Like The Fly, the whole thing. I wanted The Fly. There's a lot of elements very early on that make me go, wow, this is like The Fly. One of my notes is Cronenberg is calling. Because there's like the 2 pods, and in the second one there was like a plant thing inside of it. So I was like, we're literally doing The Fly but with plants. I get it, that's cool. Anyway, blast through my notes. Plant monster in the basement is immediately more interesting than ghosts in a house. We've said that a lot. It's true. This one doesn't have a strong opening line. Maybe it won't be a trend, I mentioned earlier. No, it's probably not going to be a trend. What is the opening line?
Hey, Dad, catch.
I'll take it back. It's such an important line.
It takes you directly into the action.
You know
You're
what?
right there.
Catch, that's how they find out he's a fucking plant.
It's foreshadowing.
R.L.
Take
Stein,
everything
you've
we
done
said
it
back.
again.
Yeah.
What is it? This one gets right into it by chapter 4, A Blessing. The best part about this book is it doesn't fuck around like Dead House. Dead House, you're waiting the whole book for something to happen. Basement, something's always happening. There is always a new, even if it is just like oh wow, my dad in the basement, he had more plants down there than usual. The plants sounded like they were crying, like they were whispering and talking to us.
Creepy.
It's creepy. There's always something happening. It's good. I said I quite liked the dad. I think the dad was very fun. When I was reading it, I was imagining him as Paul Giamatti.
Yeah,
I said
yeah,
because
that's right.
you want him to be like that kind of fun dad, but then when he switches, when Plant Dad is being an asshole, he just like starts snapping, and he just gets very angry at the kids. But then when he's trying to be a dad, he's fun and he's nice. And I really that's why I was really mad with the Plant Dad twist, because it was really sweet and interesting dynamic, just with the dad going from being really nice to being really cruel. And that's something that I wanted to see more of, but then at the end it was like, oh, don't worry, sweetie, that wasn't really your dad. Let's go get ice cream. It's me, your real dad who
It's a
loves you.
cop-out, yeah.
It's a cop-out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The DNA stuff that Dad was talking about was some pretty technical stuff for a kid. I'm surprised he made it work, even if it took 2 attempts. So, yeah, there's a part where the dad's monologuing about all of that DNA stuff that I tried and terribly failed explaining earlier. And it's a lot of really, like, big stuff for a kid to read. It's big stuff for me to read. I'm a fucking idiot adult.
Didn't pass high school.
I didn't pass high school. I'm a dum-dum. But, like, it worked. He was explaining it, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, it's simple, but I get it. Cool. And the fact that he pulled it off for a fucking kid's book, the dad had to explain it twice just to make sure it really sinks in. That's why I said even if it took 2 attempts. But, like, that's cool. That's a good job. Because it is kind of technical for a kid. Like, what's the age range for a Goosebumps book?
It's like 10
like
to
10,
12.
10 to 12, right?
Yeah.
Teach a 10 to 12-year-old about genetics. Go right now.
So when a mommy chromosome and a daddy chromosome come together, there you go.
Did it in one. Take that, Stein.
That's basically meiosis. It's
Yeah.
fine. I pictured him as Bryan Cranston, the dad.
That also really works.
Yeah.
Like Malcolm in the Middle to Breaking Bad.
Basically, yeah.
Man really just used a letter to describe a facial expression, and I just wrote like a capital O.
Yeah.
He does that at some point in the book.
Yeah.
It's you're gonna have to fucking find it somehow to use the example. I should have written down exactly what the fucking quote was.
I could just cut this bit out, then I wouldn't have to bother.
No, but it's funny because they really describes a facial expression just by typing the letter, and you fucking get it. It's so dumb.
I do remember that, kind of.
He just writes the letter O, capital. It's like Dad came into the room, and I was like
It's like he's writing in emojis. He
yeah,
predicted
he invented emojis.
R.L. Stein invented emojis.
Okay. The cliffhanger chapter endings aren't as frequent as they were in Dead House, and that makes me happy. Yes.
I didn't know. Yeah, like all the cliffhangers like paid off.
They just continue.
Because it's always
the scenes.
something happening.
Yeah. The
Even though
clone
they're
twist can
only
suck
in-
my ass.
Yeah, like it's all in the one location, but still stuff is happening. Dead House had a whole town. Nothing happens.
And nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clone twist can suck my ass because it's a cop-out. Cliffhanger can also suck my ass because it's a needless cliffhanger. And then I wrote, haha, it's okay, sweetie. There won't be any repercussions for your actions. We all still love you. Now let's go out for some ice cream.
Let's go out for some chocolate frosty milkshakes.
That's what the ending felt like before the cliffhanger. And that was Stay Out of the Basement.
I did have one more note. I do remember writing down, Margaret makes 3 sandwiches for Casey throughout the book.
She knows her place as the woman of the house.
That's staying in.
You can cut that, that's fine.
No, that's staying in.
You can cut that out, that's fine.
TV adaptation.
I wish you weren't going. So do I.
The dad fucking rocks.
Oh my god.
He is giving it his all. It is the performance of a lifetime.
Dad never cared about baseball. Why is he wearing that cap all the time? Oh, yes.
He's really getting into it. This actor's giving it his all. I appreciate this man a lot.
I'm going to be on the lookout for a performance in the show that's better than the dad in Basement.
Because he's like,
he's so into it. He's having the time of his life.
Guy doesn't give a shit.
He's giving his all to fucking Goosebumps. It's great. No, genuinely, that dad kicks so much ass.
They even fixed the problem I had where, like, Margaret knew about the university guy being trapped. In the TV show adaptation, she doesn't find him until after she kills the clone.
Okay, what were we up to?
Oh, we're just talking about the TV adaptation.
TV adaptation.
The dad
I don't have
rocks.
much to say. It was just fucking great.
Yeah, they fixed
They
all
just
of my
did a good
problems.
job.
The dad gave it his all.
They expanded the cliffhanger a little bit. Instead of it being the one plant, it was the entire flower bed.
Yeah.
And they were all like moving up and down, being like, I'm your dad, I'm your dad, I'm your dad.
Yeah. Which one do you believe, Brendan? Which one's her real father?
I think that's the 5th plant.
The 5th plant?
Yeah.
Yeah? Made a convincing argument?
It's
Kinda cool.
still a stupid cliffhanger, but at least it was a bit better than just one plant going, hey, sweetie, I'm your fucking dad.
Yeah, then you could kind of excuse them being like, oh, they're just talking shit. They
Yeah,
can't all
yeah.
be her dad.
No, I really didn't have a lot to say. The mum, it was more than just the mum being on the phone a couple times. You saw her actually at the hospital. Because the reason she leaves the whole time that shit's going down is because her sister's in hospital.
I did explain that.
You did explain that? Yeah. So then you actually see her in the hospital on the phone sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was
And
good.
she's like, it's fine. Your dad's just really involved in his work. You don't need to worry.
Yeah, and they'll be
That sort
like,
of
Mom,
stuff.
my dad's gonna fucking kill me. And she's like, oh, sweetie, don't worry about it, darling.
Kids and their imaginations.
Anybody for lunch? I got a great mixed salad and some garden vegetables. Oh. No, I'm only kidding. I got hamburgers for everybody.
No, I wonder if he actually shaved his head off with a bald cap.
Knowing his commitment to the role, honestly, he probably did shave his head.
Oh, actually, no.
It's very clearly a bald
He was
cap.
like, Brad, I'm in a Goosebumps double parter. This is my big break.
I'm looking at his head and like one part's a little too darker than the... Like,
Okay, Brandon.
Yeah, that was Goosebumps. Books 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And their respective TV adaptations.
So this is the fun part, or we've got to rank them. We haven't been able to do that yet. See, I kind of want to put Dead House above Basement.
Why?
I just really like... Dead House sucks 90% of the time, but I love that 10% where it is.
What was your problem with Stay Out of the Basement?
Nothing, I just didn't... No, you know what? No, I'm being silly. Basement on top
What
of Dead
happens if
House.
we start disagreeing? We can't start disagreeing on day one, Jared. This is gonna fall apart if that happens.
No, we'll put Basement above Dead House.
Okay, you're happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
for now.
I think if we were ranking...
TV adaptations, Basement's going above pretty
Yeah.
easily.
Do we include the adaptations in our...
No,
we're not going to let the adaptations factor into ranking the books.
I don't think so.
No, yeah. No, we'll go with Basement above Dead House. But I do want it to be said that I really like it when Dead House clicks. I think it's very, very interesting when it clicks, just in the kind of background.
Yeah.
But fuck, it takes a long time for anything to happen. At least Basement is firing all cylinders the whole time. I just don't like the ending.
I do really like this story niche, and I've told you multiple times, I really like in stories where the location is its own character.
Yeah.
And they tried that with Dead House. I don't feel like they stuck the landing.
It would have helped if the house was important at all, instead of just a reason to get them there. Basement, the basement is scary. The
basement is a character.
Spooky. 100%. All the plants that are just like overgrowing inside the basement.
You don't know if they're like sinister or they're like victims of.
By the end, it kind of sounds like they're in pain the whole time.
Yeah.
Like they're alive and they're in pain. And they could all be the dad. Like they probably all have the dad's DNA inside them.
Yeah.
Or. Yeah, that stuff was crazy. No, we'll definitely go basement over Dead House. I think the thing that gets me is the first 90% of basement is really good and the last 10% isn't. And Dead House is the first 90% isn't good and the last 10% is.
Does your friend...
So that's kind of why I'm a bit stuck on it. We'll say basement over Dead House. So this is the ranking right now, and it doesn't look like a lot right now, but even next month it's going to be a lot more intense. Double, yeah. And we're just going to move them up and down and see how we go.
Might get a CD rack.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I wouldn't mind building like a Mortal Kombat tower with like dead books at the bottom.
I have no idea what that looks like, but he does. So we're all good.
I don't even know how feasible it is. I just got it in my head.
Spent a lot of money on these books. I should spend some money back. I should spend some money on speech therapy.
Fuck, what was the word earlier? Say,
fuck.
God, that was a whole 5 minutes
Miserable.
ago. Miserable, say miserable.
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 Well, that was Goosebumps. What are we reading next month? Monster Blood and
Say Cheese
and Die. Yeah. Monster Blood obviously is one of the much bigger sub-series.
Got 4 books.
4 books, yeah. It's not as big as
Not a Living
Dummy.
That only got 3.
Yeah, but then obviously outside of
it got
the
its own
original
series.
run is massive.
Yeah.
How much does Monster Blood come back?
There is a Horrorland Monster Blood book. That might be it.
Weird, because Monster Blood was always, whenever I was like at the school library looking for a book, I'd always see like Monster Blood 1, 2, and 3, and I'd be like, gotta read this one next. But I would never look at like Say Cheese and Die, all that. It feels like there'd be more of it. Anyway, that's next month. Any last words?
Boom!